Hey guys, this is SafWB777 here, and we're going to do a review of the Blu-ray version of WWE Survivor Series 2011, which was exclusively released by Silvervision here in the United Kingdom and Europe, exclusively on Blu-ray. America got only the DVD version, and yeah, Survivor Series 2011, headlining by The Rock's return pay-per-view match, and teaming up with John Cena for the first time ever against Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth. So yeah, this was headlined by The Rock's return pay-per-view match after 7 years. Survivor Series 2011 was held at Madison Square Garden, and The Rock's last pay-per-view match was at Madison Square Garden at WrestleMania 20, and so his return match, ironically, is at Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden holds a big place to The Rock. He has a lot of history at the venue, as he made his debut at the venue, Madison Square Garden, at Survivor Series 1996. So he really holds a special place in The Rock's heart. And yeah, the big hype was obviously The Rock's return pay-per-view match and teaming up with John Cena. It was the main event against the Miz and R-Truth, which we'll go in a bit later. The pay-per-view theme was by Flow Rider, Good Feeling, which fit the pay-per-view theme really well, and it really suited the pay-per-view. I feel one of the better songs in that year, in my opinion. Flow Rider is a good artist, I believe. Well, I think anyway. Some people don't like him, to be honest. I don't know why, but he's a pretty decent artist, and I quite like the song he did at the pay-per-view. Really fit the pay-per-view well. And yeah, this is the Blu-ray version. You got the cover there, you got John Cena and The Rock there. Never before, never again. As with the Blu-ray, you get like exclusive Blu-ray extras. You get the Michael Cole challenge. You got This Is Your Life, John Cena, The Rock Rocks Raw. These are like a few highlights from Monday Night Raw from the 14th of November 2011. You got a couple of highlights from SmackDown from November 18th 2011. You got Mark Henry Promises Pain. You got Big Show's Weapon of Mass Destruction, and you got Randy Orton and Sheamus versus Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes. So those are like exclusive Blu-ray extras, which are really nice and hypes the pay-per-view up really well. So it gets you warmed up for the pay-per-view. And I'll show you the inside as well if people want to look at the inside as well. You've got just plain artwork there, and you've got the disc there. And that's the back there. Obviously, The Rock, John Cena, Awesome Truth, the main match in the show. The Rock, that's what really sold the pay-per-view, in my opinion. Obviously, they wanted to get as much buys as possible with the pay-per-view, so they had to put The Rock in the main event in the show as well. And The Rock also delivered a really good promo midway through the pay-per-view. Really got the Madison Square Garden crowd really pumped up for the main event. He talked about all his history. He talked about the history of the venue, everything. He grew up meeting Andre the Giant, and all. He just really went into detail about his career, not his career, but his moments at Madison Square Garden, and just really got the crowd really pumped up, I feel. And the main event was really good as well. The Rock didn't seem to have lost a step didn't seem to have lost his step in his wrestling skills or anything like that. It seemed like he'd never been away in WWE for 7 years. It seemed like he'd been here he's been here forever. But yeah, he really didn't lose a step, to be honest. I think this was a perfect opportunity just to see The Rock how he would do. Obviously, they don't. Would have been. I'm not really too sure if it would have been a good time to wrestle a singles match at the pay-per-view. Obviously, Miz and R-Truth were really hot at that time as a tag team, and the conspiracy against the company and Triple H, the COO. So they got The Rock to team up with John Cena to battle them too. The fact that The Rock hated John Cena and they were opponents for WrestleMania 28 made it even more intriguing, that match. Really, just to see how The Rock and John Cena would team up and how they would fare in the tag team as well. The section with The Rock wrestling R-Truth or The Miz was really good, and they got a really nice chant from the crowd that said, "The Rock, you still have it, you still have it." And yeah, it seemed like he really did have it. He obviously looked at a few instances a bit rusty, because obviously wouldn't you be after 7 years wrestling your first pay-per-view match? But but he really did give a good performance, and it was a really good tag team match. Really nice length as well, roughly around 20 minutes. You had moments where the R-Truth and the Miz dominated the match, and looked like they could win, but predictably, you always knew The Rock and John Cena would win that match. They wouldn't really let the Miz and R-Truth go over The Rock and John Cena in the main event pay-per-view, and one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year as well, Survivor Series. So that was kind of predictable that The Rock and John Cena would win. Everybody knew that anyway, but it's still nice to see The Rock and John Cena pick up the win against R-Truth and the Miz. And I thought John Cena did really good as well. He made the match intriguing as well, teaming up with The Rock. So yeah, the ending was pretty good as well. When The Rock gave John Cena the rock bottom when they won the match, and he celebrated with the crowd. So that was a really nice moment as well. And yeah, that's the main event there. Really good main event. Obviously one of the reasons to pick up the Blu-ray or the DVD version, just to see that match. Really nice moment just to see The Rock come back and wrestle. One of the biggest superstars in the history of the WWE, and to see him wrestle was a really nice moment. You had other matches on the show as well. That wasn't the really main match on the show, but obviously it was the main match on the show. You had the WWE Championship match, Alberto Del Rio versus CM Punk. This is kind of ironic that the CM Punk would win the WWE Championship at this pay-per-view against Alberto Del Rio and still hold the title for more than 380 days now. So he's held the title for over a year now, which was kind of like he's really in the history books now. CM Punk, obviously at this moment he's injured and he won't able to defend his title at TLC 2012. But he has really had a fantastic reign as a WWE champion. I think he's had one of the best reigns in this decade. He's really took the WWE Championship to another level. He made it even more important again after WWE kept trading the title back and forth, and made it really make it look really prestigious, the championship. So he really brought that credibility back in the championship, in my opinion, and he's made the title even more better than it is after the rich history of the title. And he has had really fantastic reigns throughout the year now. And this match was really good as well against Alberto Del Rio. Really nice match. Alberto Del Rio really held his own here. CM Punk, as always, delivering a really good performance. Both had nice entrances to set the match, and nice celebration at the end as well, with CM Punk jumping in the car of the title. It was really a really fan favorite in this match as well. Obviously he was a fan favorite up to this point, but he was really over at this point as a fan favorite. And CM Punk, one of the best years in 2011, the summer of Punk as well. So he was really hot at this time as well, CM Punk. So it's really nice to see him in the WWE Championship at this pay-per-view, and a really good match against Alberto Del Rio, which I think this match should have really been included on the CM Punk DVD and Blu-ray, but it wasn't. So another reason to pick up this pay-per-view for that match as well. And yeah, the World Heavyweight Championship match, Mark Henry versus Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship. This match was fairly decent. Nothing really happened. It kind of really slow match. They kept stalling and nothing really interesting happened. The match wasn't on terms of the Avengers 2011 match. Obviously that was notable for the ring breaking for the second time in the company's history. And the only really decent moment in the match was when Big Show did a top rope elbow drop on Mark Henry that got a crowd chanting Macho Man Randy Savage, paying respect to Macho Man Randy Savage. And yeah, that was a nice moment in the match. But other than that, the match was nothing really interesting, and it also ended in disqualification, which is really bad, because I don't really like disqualification endings on pay-per-views. And that match was fairly decent. Other matches you had was Dolph Ziggler versus John Morrison for the United States Championship match, the opening match of the pay-per-view, which was really nice as well. Which really got the crowd going. You had a Divas match, Beth Phoenix versus Eve for the Divas Championship, and a Lumberjack match was fairly decent. It was over a quick time anyway, roughly around 4 to 5 minutes, so it wasn't that long anyway. And you had a traditional Survivor Series elimination match. You had Team Owen, which consisted of Randy Orton, Sheamus, Mason Ryan, and Sin Cara, and Kofi Kingston against Team Barrett, which had Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, Hunico, Jack Swagger, and who else was it? Hunico, Jack Swagger, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, and I forgot the other one. I'm not too sure who it was, but that was the Traditional Survivor Series elimination. And Dolph Ziggler, that was the Traditional Survivor Series elimination match, which Team Barrett won and got Wade Barrett really over. And he was another really hot prospect 2012 as well, 2011 in my opinion. Towards the end, certainly his feud with Randy Orton took him to that level until he got injured early this year. So yeah, that was that Traditional Survivor Series elimination match. So yeah, this would be my review of Survivor Series 2011. Really recommend picking this up on Blu-ray. Give the pay-per-view a 8.5 out of 10. Really good pay-per-view. The Blu-ray extras are really nice as well. The picture quality is fantastic and the audio quality is also fantastic. And this has been my review of Survivor Series 2011. Until next time, I'll see you again.